Hi, it's Audrey here, and welcome to the Walker House Parlor. I thought I would just first scan the room so that you could see it, just as you would walk in it. I'm coming from the kids' room. That's a center hall going into the kitchen. Over there we have the family tree, and we come around and we're going back to the kids' room. This piece here is called a mule chest. The top two drawers are fake. It has a feathering painted design on it. They would have painted that with a feather. And the bottom piece is a piece of homespun from the 1800s. I bought that from Jimmy Kramer years ago. The top three pieces are from a local farm here, from a sheep farm. They're made from flax made into linen. It's homespun. It's done on a loom. And as you can see too, here there's locks on the drawers. They would always lock their homespun up. We made this room in the house pretty much to explain the Walker family and the history of the Walkers. This is my bloodline. The big oval picture here is my grandparents, great-grandparents. This is my great-great-grandfather Oliver, who was in the Civil War. I was lucky. My family kept the jewelry, all kinds of information about the Walker family. But I never was really into genealogy until my uncle got into it, and we found the house, and I thought it was interesting. Although I've always loved old historic houses, I really wasn't into my family genealogy. So we had all the pictures of all the Walkers, but we did not have this picture. And this is Rebecca Walker. Her and Jonathan, they got married in 1827, 3 years after the house was built. Sorry for the reflection in the back. I thought of her all the time. When I joined Ancestry.com and found this picture, I was in my glory because this picture was nowhere to be had. So many people come in and they think that we look alike, and David thinks the same. But I don't know. I really do have a connection with her. When we were doing the house, I kept thinking, did she sew all their clothes? What was it like cleaning? She had 12 children. Um, did she bake a lot, cook a lot? What kind of a woman was she? And I just I love her. I just have a connection to her. Here's a better picture of Rebecca Walker, and she's my great-great-great-grandmother. When David moved the house, he purposely made this house south, north, east, and west exactly how it would have been 10 miles from here in Saxonburg, so that we would experience the breezes and the sunrise and the sunset exactly as how the Walkers would have experienced. We try to keep everything as pure as we can in the house. We do have farm tours, so you tour the house first and then we go down and see the sheep. And by the way, Jonathan Walker was a sheep farmer, so that's like pretty neat. This chair is from the 1800s. We have electric heat. We try to hide everything. David even put the electrical outlets in the woodwork like they did like we saw in Williamsburg. And we try to do it as pure as we can. We have a sewing group coming, so anytime that we have a group that has a specific subject, I try to relate to them what it was like in the 1800s. So I have some sewing baskets here. I have a needlework magazine from 1899. We have a sewing bird here that would have been on a quilting rack. And then this is like lovely. It has patterns in it. It's Fashions for August 1890. And that way the ladies can relate to what the fashions and the fabric was like too. In this corner, we do have a couch that's certainly not the 1800s, but we just had a church group here. We have groups that come, and we want it to be comfortable for them. This chair belonged to William Williams. It's out of his Connecticut home. He signed the Declaration of Independence. And this desk is stained red, and it came out of a woolen mill in Vermont. So we had to buy that because it came out of a woolen mill. We keep a lot of the Walker information in the desk. And we bought that from Rick Fuller years ago, along with this chair right beside it. And I absolutely loved the paint on it. In the parlor, we keep lots of information about the Walker family. This is Jonathan's dad's, John Hogue Walker. This is his tombstone. We went looking for his cemetery plot, and we were just thrilled when we found this. It has right on his tombstone that he was at the crossing of the Delaware River in 1776 and at Valley Forge in 1777. So the articles that we read about him being the quartermaster were true. I'm sure he knew George Washington. I feel for certain that the Walkers would have been very patriotic, and in the early days in early homes, you would have been very proud to fight for America and that you would have a picture of George Washington in your home. So we decided that was proper and we put it in the parlor. If you notice the ceilings, they're very tall, and a lot of people ask us if they're original. Yes, they are a little bit over 10 feet tall. The house was built by a New England housewright, and when they built this house, they thought this was south, and in the south they had very high ceilings. As Dave stated before, children weren't allowed in the parlor. They had to be well behaved or a certain age or carry on a good conversation to be allowed in the parlors in the early days. But many times they were allowed in to do their lessons. So they would get on a little stool, get their book, and recite their lesson to the person sitting in the chair. On this table we have the book that the Walkers are in Butler County. We have pictures of the Walkers, of my grandma, her mother. There's my grandma there. That's her parents there. That's Oliver there and his wife, Jonathan and William, who had the house built. And also we were in Early American Life magazine, bringing the 1824 farmhouse home. Honestly, I sort of had to be talked into it, and then I thought, well, Dave did so much work, and it was really a task to take on, although it was a labor of love. I thought, well, okay, we'll try it and be in a magazine. And David also was featured in the magazine for his blacksmithing. He's won national awards for blacksmithing, and I just felt like, yeah, that would be fun to be in a magazine. As David was saying before, the woodwork in the parlor here was just phenomenal. All we had to do was just wash it off. He took it down, moved it over here. David didn't even number it. He put it all in our barn, and he just remembered what went where. It's just amazing to me. He's matched it up perfectly, and he had to have some math involved with that because it's different. It's drywall. It's not wattle and daub in the middle. It's insulation. But he figured it out, and it's just turned out perfectly. We didn't add to the house at all. We didn't subtract it. The ceilings are 10 feet high. I think it's 10 feet 3 inches. A lot of the beams are original in the house. So no, it's all the same. Thanks for coming along with us on the tour of the parlor today in the 1824 Walker Farmhouse. We'd be so grateful if you would subscribe to our channel, and we hope to see you real soon.